All right, hey, what's up? What I'm going to talk about today is moving to San Diego from Boulder. Boulder was quite the experience. It all started out with this idea, since I'm a triathlete and I had traveled basically all around the world to several different continents, going to training camps or racing and doing that jazz. I started to realize that there was a lot of amazing athletes coming out of Boulder, and I'm making this to sort of help people understand the differences in the thought process and just get more insight. So I moved to Boulder to sort of learn why all these great athletes were moving to what we call this talent bed hotspot. And, it's not elevation, because if it was, athletes would be moving to Flagstaff or Albuquerque or Big Bear and Tahoe. Don't get me wrong, they do, but just not quite at the rate that professional Olympic endurance Olympic and professional athletes move to Boulder. And, I'd being a personal trainer, performance specialist, post-rehab specialist, whatever you want to call what I do, triathlon coach, business owner. So one of the reasons that I decided to go to Boulder was because I noticed all these people flocking there. And of course, great minds think alike. And so I moved there, and I decided that I was going to pursue this sort of journey, this pathway that, isn't laid. There's no yellow brick road to learn how to be the best athlete you can be, or help other athletes be the best athlete they can be. My whole goal was to go to this place called Rally Sport, where many Olympic endurance athletes and professional cyclists and snowboarders and all these other athletes train, wanted to figure out why they went there. And I learned that it's the culture, it's being around other athletes, it's being at elevation, it's having a safe place to train. Although there were some accidents in the years that I was there, I do think that Boulder is a great place to commute on a bike. You can really get anywhere you want within Boulder Valley County, and without really ever going on a road, unless you wanted to go, up 36 or towards Longmont. But if you wanted to go all the way to Denver, which is about a 45-minute drive, you could do it all on bike paths. If you wanted to go anywhere in town, you could do it on a bike path. There's just endless amounts of dirt trails if you have a cross bike, mountain bike. There's great single tracks out there. One of the downsides is there's only the Boulder Res to swim if you want to do open water. There's Scott Carpenter for the 50-meter pool. It was under construction. There was a big crack in the pool. There's Rally Sport, and then there's CAC. CAC is a saline pool. Boulder is a 25-yard chlorine pool. It is a little bit harder on the skin, but in my belief, all the better athletes, the majority of the best athletes, train at Rally Sport. And I'm not just biased because I worked there for 2 years. I just think it's a fact. So Boulder is not that diverse. I come from the Bay Area, where it's very, very diverse. And since I married a woman from Eastern Europe, she's obviously a foreigner and immigrant. And, one of the things that she brought to my attention is the lack of diversity in Boulder. She would say things and say something, and people in Boulder would be like, wait, where are you from? And in diverse cities like San Diego or the Bay Area, people don't give a shit. They just keep talking to you, whatever you were talking about, whether it was interesting, not interesting, whatever. They don't stop and ask, oh, where are you from? And I think that Um, Boulder, there was much more of a tendency for people to ask that. Also, due to the lack of diversity, cultural foods were a little bit more scarce. And when you have scarcity with anything, that drives up the price. The taxes in Boulder are a little bit ridiculous. Even though I don't eat a ton of sugar, the sugar tax is a little crazy. We have yet to find out if it works. In the 2 years that I was there, I went there and there wasn't a lot of homeless people. But in the 2 years that I was there, 2016, 2017, the amount of homelessness just skyrocketed. Coincidentally, there was a homeless shelter that opened up in North Boulder that seemed to help the homelessness problem that was happening. But definitely the housing there is ridiculously expensive. When I say ridiculously expensive, you're talking to a person who came from the Bay Area, and the only two spots that might be more expensive is Silicon Valley, Bay Area, San Francisco, Daly City, down that peninsula, and then pretty close to North Bay, East Bay, South Bay is all still pretty expensive, more expensive than Boulder, and probably New York and some little areas, parts of Miami, parts of it's definitely up there as far as cost goes. LA is definitely more expensive. One of the reasons that I was so open to the idea of moving to San Diego was, first of all, it's in California, and I was born and raised in California, and I love the ocean. You're talking to someone who felt like you should be in the water all the time. I love the water. Skimboard. Haven't been surfing as much as I'd like to. I have to go up to my brother's house in the Bay Area and pick that up. But we have the beach here in San Diego, so I'm pumped on that. The West Coast, the sunset sets to the west, so the sunsets are absolutely beautiful out here. I think that San Diego is extremely diverse. Yes, the cost of housing and renting is fairly high in comparison to the rest of America. But you got to keep in mind, it's all about perspective. Since I came from, the Bay Area and Boulder, San Diego's not that bad at all. San Diego is very diverse, and with the diversity, that does not bring scarcity with the diverse food. Also, I love seafood. We are close to the sea. Seafood, you can get fish tacos for $2.50. That was like a Taco Tuesday for regular chicken in Boulder. So, also, besides the beach being 5 minutes away, I think that just the diversity really brings size. You got to keep in mind there's about 2.2 million people, if I'm not mistaken, in San Diego, and there's only about 60,000 people. So it's much, much bigger in San Diego. And since I'm in the fitness industry, it's nice to have all that extra opportunity, because Boulder is a little bubble. There's like basically one way out and one way in, one on the north side and one on the south side towards Denver. So being in the fitness industry, the opportunity, just the healthcare industry alone has grown something like 35% in the past 5 years here in San Diego, where I believe the statistics I was looking at were just shy of 25% in Boulder. And then also the saturation level, as far as trainers, coaches, physical therapists, the list goes on, the saturation level in Boulder is higher. So if you're in the health industry, San Diego is a better bet, because not only is it less saturated, is the marketplace is growing faster, and those sort of do go hand in hand. All in all, I think they're both amazing places, and Triathlon is, triathlon started in San Diego, and triathlon is now being grown at an elite level in Boulder. So I do believe if you're pursuing the sport for those reasons to get better, then San Diego or Boulder are both great options. Well, going on 10 minutes here, over 10 minutes, so I hope you learned something. Feel free to ask me any questions, and email me at fastesttransition@gmail.com, or go to fastesttransition.com if you want to learn more about what I do. Again, thanks for watching. Later.